Understanding the Kingdom Concept of Kings, Part 2. But if I drive out demons by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. Matthew chapter 12. 28. He replied, the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Matthew chapter 13. 11. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. Matthew chapter 13. 19a. Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. Matthew chapter 13. 24. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Matthew chapter 13. 3:1. He told them still another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into a large amount of flour until it worked all through the dough. Matthew chapter 13. 33. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Matthew chapter 13. 44. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Matthew chapter 13. 45 to 46. Once again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish. Matthew chapter 13. 4:7. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Matthew chapter 16. 1:9. I tell you the truth. Some who are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Matthew chapter 16. 28. And he said, I tell you the truth. Unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapter 18. 3-4. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. Matthew chapter 18. 23. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire men to work in his vineyard. Matthew chapter 20. 1. Jesus said to them, I tell you the truth. The tax collectors and the prostitutes are entering the kingdom of God ahead of you. Matthew chapter 21. 31b. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Matthew chapter 22. 2-3. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the kingdom of heaven in men's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. Matthew chapter 23. 13. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Matthew chapter 24. 14. Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. Matthew chapter 25. 3-4. After this, Jesus traveled about from one town and village to another, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom of God. Luke chapter 8. 1. And he sent them out to preach the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. Luke chapter 9. 2. Then he took them with him and they withdrew by themselves to a town called Bethsaida. But the crowds learned about it and followed him. He welcomed them and spoke to them about the kingdom of God, and healed those who needed healing. Luke chapter 9. 10b-11. I tell you the truth. Some who are standing here will not taste death before they see the kingdom of God. Luke chapter 9. 27. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Luke chapter 12. 3-2. And I confer on you a kingdom, just as my Father conferred one on me. Luke chapter 22. 2:9. Jesus said, my kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jews. But now my kingdom is from another place. John chapter 18. 36. You are a king, then, said Pilate. Jesus answered, you are right in saying I am a king. In fact, for this reason I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me. John chapter 18. 37. My purpose for listing all of these statements is to show and emphasize the preoccupation Jesus had with the kingdom concept rather than a religion. Note in particular the last statement above, where Jesus declares himself a king and not a president or prime minister or mayor. This is why it is necessary and essential that we rediscover and desire to understand the kingdom as a concept and a reality. It is the foundation of God's plan for mankind. The original ideal kingdom concept is distinct from the earthly version even though it contains many of the same components and concepts of all kingdoms. Despite the many failed kingdoms throughout history, the questions still arise. Why did God choose a kingdom and not a republic? Why did God choose a kingdom and not a democracy or socialism? What are the benefits of being in a kingdom over a democratic republic or a communistic regime? Why is a kingdom better than a democracy or socialist form of government? Why is Jesus a king and not a president? What exactly is a kingdom? Very simply, a kingdom is the government of a king. More specifically, a kingdom is the sovereign rulership and governing influence of a king over his territory, impacting it with his will, his intent, and his purpose, manifesting a culture and society reflecting the king's nature, values, and morals. A kingdom is the governing impact of a king's will over a territory or domain, his influence over a people, and a government led by a king. Therefore, the very heart of any kingdom is its king. This definition perfectly describes the relationship of God to the heavenly realm. Heaven exists because of the creative activity of God. Throughout its entire expanse, it is infused with His presence, character, and authority. There is no corner of heaven where His will is not accomplished. In every way, God is the unrivaled and unequaled King of heaven. The same was true in the natural realm when God extended His kingdom authority to the earth through the man and woman He created in His image and released to rule in His name. They rebelled against the king's authority, however, and lost their rulership. Control of the earthly realm then passed temporarily to a demonic usurper until the day in the king's sovereign plan when it would be restored to its rightful ruler. In the fullness of time, Jesus came to the earth and re-established the kingdom. Because only a king can establish a kingdom. This act alone reveals that Jesus Christ is the king. The Bible, the constitution of the kingdom of heaven, leaves no doubt as to the kingship of Jesus. Perhaps the clearest statement of all is found in the 18th chapter of the Gospel of John, where Jesus, mere hours before his execution by crucifixion, has a revealing exchange with Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of the province of Judea, falsely arrested, illegally tried, and wrongfully condemned for blasphemy by the Jewish religious authorities in Jerusalem. Jesus now stands before Pilate for judgment. Pilate has heard the accusation that Jesus claims to be a king. So the governor asks him directly, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jews. But now my kingdom is from another place." "You are a king then," said Pilate. Jesus answered, "You are right in saying I am a king. In fact, for this reason I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." "What is truth?" Pilate asked, John chapter 18, 33b, 36 to 38a. Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world, and my kingdom is from another place," clearly implying that he was a king. He was speaking of the kingdom of heaven. Notice that Jesus said that his kingdom was not of or from this world. He never said that it was not in this world. His kingdom on earth originated in heaven. When Pilate pressed further, Jesus plainly said, "I am a king." He then said, "I came into the world to testify to the truth." What truth? The truth that he was a king with a kingdom. What could be clearer than that? Testify is a word often used to describe what a witness does in a courtroom, testifying or avowing to what he has seen or heard. The original Greek word employed here has an even deeper meaning. It is a word of experimentation from the laboratory and means to verify or validate. Essentially, Jesus said to Pilate, "I came to earth because I am a king, and I will prove it by putting it to the test. I testify to the truth that a king is here. A kingdom is here. And this kingdom is available to anyone who wants to come in." The last thing Jesus said to Pilate was, "Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." A more accurate rendering would be, "Everyone on the side of truth hears me." This is a very important point because it has to do with connecting to Jesus' message. Everywhere I go teaching the message of the kingdom, I find that it resonates with people from all religions and walks of life. God created us for kingship, for dominion, and inside each of us is a latent kingdom consciousness striving for expression. This consciousness reveals itself in various ways, such as in our natural resistance to being ruled or controlled by any other person and our continual longing to control the circumstances of our own lives. That is what finally connected me to Jesus, when I realized that he could teach me how to run life, not let life run me. I learned that I could control my own circumstances. The search for power is a natural human drive. We all seek power over things and over circumstances. And that is what the kingdom of heaven promises. Jesus said, "I will testify to the truth of the kingdom. And when you hear me, you will believe it. You will connect with what I have to say because it will resonate with the kingdom consciousness that is already in you." We connect with the kingdom message because it addresses the most deep-seated longing of our heart, our longing to be kings. While it is natural to desire power over things and circumstances, desiring power over people is another matter. Seeking to influence people, public opinion, and public policy through kingdom principles is always appropriate. But pursuing despotic power over other people for personal gain at their expense is a corruption of our natural quest for power. Desiring to control our own life is one thing. Desiring to control others' lives is another.